What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to talk about the big day PlayStation is having with their Days of Play extravaganza. There's really one specific thing I want to talk about, and it's Sly Cooper, but they're doing a lot. We'll run through really everything. So we got the June monthly games. You got SpongeBob, AEW, Fight Forever, Streets of Rage 4. I think that's a pretty darn good month. You have actually quite a few PSVR 2 games. None that really catch my eye, and I don't have a PSVR 2, but you still have Ghostbusters, Rise of the Ghost Lord, Walkabout Mini Golf, Synth Riders, Before Your Eyes, and The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapter 1 and 2. Then we get to the big one that I want to stop and talk about for a second, PS2 Classics Catalog, and this is absolutely gigantic. We talked about Clone Wars being leaked and what this means for them doing, emulation with PS2 here, but Tomb Raider Legend, never played that before, so this is a good opportunity for me. Star Wars The Clone Wars, which I've also never played before, but then Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. They're putting the first Sly game into the PS2 Classics collection. So that is awesome. And again, I think if you're just talking about Sly, we'll do that in a second, but if you're just talking about the PS2 part of things, there is such a well to just dive deep in and for them to bring back and for them to seemingly be able to figure this out. And remember, the rumor is this is going to have quite a few kind of new features like save states and rewind features, emulation type things. So it seems legit. It seems like actually big. And this is what people want. This is what I've been saying for so long, right? This is important, like getting these games, I guess not physically. I'm still a physical guy, and I have Sly 1 physically, right? And I think that's very important. And it still, I think, is important to get those games physically. But to have these games be natively on the PS5 where you don't have to do the stupid, streaming thing. I mean, yes, it works and it's fine and whatever, but to be able to just have them where you don't have to do the streaming part, I think is so important. So I look forward to not only the other Sly games, but, all of them. I mean, you got to get the PS2 thing up and running, and it seems like they did. Now you just got to do PS3, right? Like PS3 is another one where there's so many games like Infamous, Resistance, and etc. that are still also stuck, and they're only stuck through the streaming stuff. You got to get those natively. So I'm very impressed with that. And I mean, they keep going. I mean, they gave bonus games. They gave Dredge, which I still haven't played yet, and I really am excited to now play it. Dredge, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, Cricket 24, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the Definitive Edition, and there's just more. I mean, they just keep giving kind of side benefits, basically. Let's talk about Sly for a second, okay? One thing that was actually pointed out to me by Audrey over on Twitter, and thank you so much for doing this, it's not the picture where Sly is there, right, with Tomb Raider and with Clone Wars, okay, where it says PS2 Classics Catalog. If you go back up and you look at where they announced this thing, PlayStation Plus Avatar, celebrate Days of Play with a free set of avatars. Now, there's several avatars, and they talk about how you can earn them and stuff. So it's not just Sly. In fact, just by the picture, you can look at the other pictures. And you guys can correct both of us, me and Audrey, if we're wrong. But that Sly, I mean, and I agree, because this is what Audrey said, right? Like, this Sly, he looks young here. Maybe a prequel game is being made right now with this design. I mean, I believe this is a new design. I don't know if it's based off of from Sly 1, Sly 2, Sly 3. He does look younger. So, I mean, maybe I'd have to look through the catalog of every frame by frame of Sly 1 to know if it is something that they just took from Sly 1, right? But, I mean, I don't disagree. Here's the thing. If we're going to be grasping at straws, which I think is totally fine. I don't think that's wrong to do at all. Two things to throw out there. There's not an infinite amount of avatars, and Sly was one of them, so why would you pick Sly? And then number two, the first wave of PS2 games that you're doing natively on the PS5. This is a big deal, as I just said, with the new features and all this stuff. It's a big deal. Sly, Tomb Raider, and Star Wars. Now, Star Wars The Clone Wars, I actually do think that is kind of an odd one, but, it's a big property, big franchise. Tomb Raider, you could maybe even grasp at straws and look at that a little deeper, where, there's a Tomb Raider game coming. We know that, right, from Amazon. So, that's going to happen. Sly, of all the games, you have thousands of PS2 games. It's the deepest collection in gaming history, okay? And you pick Sly 1 to start with in your first three. So, I don't know. I feel like, here's what I would actually say. Please, for the love of God, support it, right? Download it. Sony has to have some sort of metrics, right, of how many people play all of these games through PlayStation Plus. So I don't know if you can send a message through this, but I do find it kind of odd that Sly is chosen as an avatar, and it's an interesting avatar because it looks younger than what we've seen in the games. Maybe it's supposed to be with Sly 1. Maybe it's just as simple as that. I mean, he is younger in Sly 1 anyway, right? But at the same, or maybe it's we've seen flashbacks with him, so maybe it's supposed to be like that young Sly. But you pick Sly as your first 3. So I don't know. I feel like there could be something there if you want to grasp at straws and say a prequel I don't know. It's just odd to me. You pick Sly of any other. There's so many PS2 games you could have chosen, right? There's a lot, and you pick the very first Sly game. So, I mean, I'm not complaining. I think the odds of it happening is actually so low that it's crazy that it did happen. So I will celebrate it, but I do wonder if that leads to something. There continues to be rumors of Sly making a return. I mean, I don't want this to be the return. I mean, it's cool. This is a cool return, but at the same time, the rumors would indicate there's like an actual new game, not just coming back out for the PS2 game coming to PS5. So we'll see. Okay, you let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.